This video is part 2 in my journey of figuring out why all of my friends are moving overseas. If you haven't seen part 1, you should pause and go back to the beginning. In this part, I talk to the people I know who have landed their life on different shores. Christian wasn't the first of my best friends to leave. This is Caroline. I've known her since I was 10. She's my longest friend and our friendship spans nearly 15 years. And now, she lives in LA. After an incident with a ladybug,
it's made me a lot more independent. Oh gross. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, it's a ladybug. It was huge, it's far away.
It looks tiny. And over an hour's worth of catching up, I asked her about her journey to living in another country. Should I ask you my question?
Yes. Oh, I thought you already asked me the question. That's
No,
why
I didn't.
I kept on going. I'm sorry.
Why did you move overseas? Like initially, like why?
To study, to find more opportunities.
Okay.
Because New Zealand didn't have much opportunities for whatever I was doing.
Like career-wise?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you've got it over there? Well, I guess you have. I mean, look at you. Look at you now.
I don't mind going back. Well, I won't be like going back. I'll be going to Australia, but at least I've got like a lot of experiences here.
Oh, okay.
It's on my resume that I can apply to higher end studios in Australia. So.
Okay. So you don't think you'll come back to New Zealand?
No.
I love how matter of the fact you are.
But I think it's weird because when I came here, I kind of hated it first.
Really?
Like overall, in general, I hated it.
Why?
Just the environment. I just didn't like the environment. Like I like
it was
being
different.
independent and stuff, but I just didn't like outside it's melt, like inside it's hot. Blech.
It'd be a lot different to New Zealand.
Yeah, but then after a while, right now, I'm kind of getting used to it.
How long have you been living overseas for?
Almost 3 years.
That's crazy. Crazy. I'm very landlocked in New Zealand, Auckland. Cause
You're what?
I'm landlocked in New Zealand and Auckland because Luke has kids.
Oh.
Yeah. But I don't
Yeah.
think my ambition was ever to move overseas. But when you see everyone doing it, you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I should be
Yeah.
doing this. Did you know that Mum's adopted 3 kids? I.e. my
No.
cousins? Yeah, so... Did you know my auntie died?
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't say it to me, and I didn't want to ask you. But
Oh! Have I never talked to you
I
about
was
it?
scared.
Well, she died a while ago now. But she died of cancer. It's cancer sucks,
sorry.
though. Yeah. She had 3 kids. And when she died, they were like 2, 5 and 6 or something. So now Mum's raising them. But I also don't feel like I'd be able to move overseas with that because I don't want to leave Mum. Because she's got so much on her plate. And I feel like I'm a big rock in her life.
That's kind of like the same, like, why I kind of want to go to Australia because it's closer to my family.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's close to New Zealand, it's close to Indonesia, and, like, recently, a lot of my friends, their parents have died.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, then you start thinking, like, you know, you don't know when your parents going to leave. Like,
Exactly.
if right now you go overseas, and you don't see them for a couple of years, and you think, like, oh, but I'm going to visit them in 2 years, and then they die, like, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. You can't take that back.
Do you miss them a lot? Like, as annoying as family can be.
Yeah, I met them, and then I go there, I spend a day, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
This is why I moved away from you all. You happy though?
I'm happy. I'm just sweating.
You should turn the fan back on.
And it's super loud though.
When are you coming home for a holiday? Like New Zealand home?
Probably end of October because I have to bring all my crap back first.
Oh, okay. You can come visit my new house.
I will. I definitely will.
And we can hang out heaps.
Yes.
That will be cool.
But I have to go again.
It's been so long.
I know.
It's crazy. Look at us living life.
Tired.
Exhausting.
tell you something.
What?
There's an $8,000 coffee machine.
Caroline moved overseas for career opportunities, but I don't feel like I have a career to move for. To be honest, I don't actually feel like I have a career at this stage. Through this conversation, I realized how much my family mean to me and how big of a part of my decision to stay that they are, if that makes sense.
It's me. I have some news. So, I'm moving. Kieran and I decided to move to America. So that's where we're going. We have a flight booked.
Tanami has only just moved overseas. I met him through YouTube. When I was scrolling through Facebook and saw that he had made this shift and saw what his new gig was, I remember feeling such immense pride for this giant decision and for his new life in LA. He was on the top of my list of people I wanted to talk to, but unfortunately the footage got corrupted, so we only have a few snippets to listen to.
I am so nervous, to be honest. I don't know. I just am. How are you?
I'm good. I literally just got back from San Diego.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around and I'm like,
What?
I realize I am. Like 4 months ago I was in Mount Wellington.
I know, right? And now, what the fuck?
And now I'm like, yeah.
That's so exciting.
So,
I'm so proud of you.
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud of myself. And so I think that has made everything else worth it.
Yeah.
Because, like all of the difficulty of ridding myself in New Zealand of all of the things and possessions, and then having to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
And landing here with only a limited amount of money. And so I had to be really picky with what I was doing. I had to be really ruthless, and I went through everything in my room and everything in the rest of my house, and I was like, do I really, really want to keep this thing? Do I have an emotional attachment to it? I guess I was really in the mood to do that because I was letting go of everything.
Yeah.
Your
whole life.
Yeah, I guess I realized that I had been working for a few years. I've been out of uni for a while. Time's ticking.
It's just a good time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another motivation was there's literally nothing holding me back.
Yeah.
Except just excuses in my head.
Yeah. And you craved that I guess that adventure of starting new and fresh. So that's what you went for. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another thing that kind of spurred me onto moving overseas was that I felt like those things in my priority list I had achieved, I'd ticked them off. I'd done the flatting thing. In fact, I was kind of done with it. I had finished uni. I'd gone through a couple of jobs. I'd gotten a couple of promotions, and I felt like I was sort of at the level where I wanted to be, and where I was, I felt like I had kind of maxed out in terms of my career. Where I could go anytime soon. And I don't know if I'll be in LA forever, for the rest of my life. I don't know if I'll be even in America. I would like to go and live in other places and try other things and just continue to explore the world and the opportunities that are available. And I think now that I've done that once, I know that it's possible to do it again.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a good starting point.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with where I am right now. So it won't be anytime soon, but there's still so much more to see.
Tanami moved overseas because he wanted to travel and experience something new. He felt like he was done in New Zealand in the sense that he had accomplished everything that he had set out to and could accomplish here. So onwards and upwards to new adventures, heights and challenges. Himself and Kieran, his partner, are 3 months into their overseas stay with no set date or intention on coming back home to New Zealand. I decided to Skype one last person, a Kiwi living in London, Charlie. Hello! How are you?
Good, how about you?
About 3 years ago, in 2014, moved to England with her sister Smay. I think they were the first of my friends to leave.
I moved overseas because I think living in a different country is something that I've always wanted to do. I always, for some reason, knew I would do it growing up. So when I was younger, my family lived in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
We moved over there when I was 5 and moved back to New Zealand when I was just before I turned 11, I think. So that idea of living in a different country was always like something that I knew was a possibility. You know? Do you know what? I can remember this vividly, this sudden change that I had.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast episode, and in the episode, it was talking about how you've only got one life, and it's yours to live, and you've got to go after the things you want. You've got to plan for them and make them happen, because no one else is going to do it for you. Like, you can't just expect life to happen to you. You have to be the one to make it happen. And I was sitting at work, and I remember texting Sammy and being like, do you want to move to England? And she was like, what? Okay.
I love that.
And so and we did
let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you think it had been like an idea brewing in your head for a long time?
Yeah, it was always something that when I was at university, I was like, yeah, I want to graduate, I'm going to move overseas and like work there for a while. But then in my last year of university, I found a job that I was then able to start at full-time when I left university. And so I was just there. And then I found another really great job, and that was going really well, and so I stayed there.
Yeah.
But then that's when listening to this podcast really hit me that, like, if I just keep trucking along and, like, taking opportunities when they come up rather than, like, inventing those opportunities for myself, I'm never going to get here because I'm not looking for it. And so, yeah, I just had to make the choice to plan for that, I suppose.
I love that. I love that, what you said, like, making the choice and, like, inventing your own life. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
I think there was like a 9 months between when I decided that I wanted to move and when we arrived here. Something like that.
So
9 or 10 months.
fast. What were you hoping to achieve by moving overseas?
I think I was hoping to travel more is one of the main reasons I wanted to move and live in England in particular, because I love Europe. Visited there a few times. And I wanted to see more of it. And from New Zealand, it's a lot to plan a trip to Europe. And you really have to go for a big chunk of time. You can't just go to France for the weekend or whatever. And I just wanted to try out that lifestyle, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that was one of the main motivations, though, as well, was I think that you can earn more for what I do over in England than I can in New Zealand as well.
So it's like better career-wise.
You have to deal with much more things yourself. I think that I've definitely gained a lot more independence just from dealing with things that my parents have not even dealt with, you know, like renting in London. That's a whole different story from renting in New Zealand, and it's this whole different ball game, and it's something that I've been figuring out myself. And in that way, I guess I could say it's shaped me, having all these new experiences that I don't have my family or many friends to advise on. What was interesting for me is that my younger sister moved over with me to England, Smay, who you know, but she just moved back a couple months ago. So now I feel like I'm totally on my own here. Yeah. My cousin, who was also living in London, has also left, and so I'm the only one from my like immediate family that is over here on this side of the world. We've got like I've got a great aunt and some other like you know, third cousins or whatever, but in terms of the immediate family, I'm all on my lonesome.
How are you finding that?
It was weird when Sammy left. I had this weird moment where it like sunk in, and I was like, oh my god, like all of my family is over there on that side of the world, like a 27-hour flight away or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty independent person, so it's easy enough for me to deal with, but it is just a strange feeling, and every now and then you do get that moment where you're like, whoa, I'm like pretty alone over here.
Do you ever think that you'll come back to New Zealand to live?
I don't know. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't have plans to do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I'm going to be over here several more years
Yeah.
at least. For now, I feel totally comfortable here in London. It definitely feels like home. I think you'll know within yourself if moving overseas is something that you want to do or that you might be interested in. If you have that little spark of thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
then I think yes. Then I think you should do it because you owe it to yourself to try it out, right?
Yeah.
And just see if it's something that you might enjoy doing. I think you can get a lot of value, especially because we come from such a small country that is so cut off from the rest of the world. Like, we don't have borders with anybody else that we can, see other cultures through or whatever. You have to purposefully go somewhere else to experience that a lot of the time. And so travel in general is really great and I think really beneficial, and that's something that I think everyone should do if they have a chance. But as for living overseas, I think that's a much bigger step, and that's something that you should take very seriously because it is a huge thing. If it's something you have any interest in at all, then I think you should try and make it happen for yourself, because even if you only do it for 6 months or whatever, it's going to be worth it for what you learn during that time, that independence and the new culture and just seeing how things work in a different country. Mm-hmm. And if you're really happy with how things are, then I wouldn't say that you should interrupt that to go and pick up your life and move overseas, Travel is great, but you can always come back home again afterwards. But if you love your life as it is, then don't interrupt it just to move overseas because you feel like you should because other people are doing it or whatever. Yeah. I would say that if you're still in two minds about whether it's suited for you, because I don't want anything I've said to put someone off moving overseas, basically. It is going to be tough, and you might get lonely, you might get homesick, but you can't give up on things when you hit one little hurdle, If you just push through and give it a proper shot, you owe it to yourself, I think. And I love living overseas. I think it's been the best decision I ever made in my whole life was to move over here. So, I'm really pleased with it.
For Charlie, it has always been with her, this idea of moving overseas. She realised that this was her life, and she was in charge of it. So she turned this dream of hers into a reality. All these interviews made my head spin. They were all so happy, and maybe if I took the leap, if I moved overseas, maybe I could get a small bit of that happiness too. But I struggled to see exactly what I would be moving for. I needed to talk to someone who was still here, still in New Zealand, the place she was born and raised. One of my few best friends left, Tara. Has moving overseas ever been something that you wanted to do?
I don't know.
But how so many people are moving overseas?
I feel like it's kind of expected for people our age or after uni or something to move overseas for a couple of years and work. But I've just never really I've thought, it'd be cool to work overseas for a year, but I've never really wanted to move overseas.
It's never been I feel like that's the same for me. It's never been a big major goal in my life.
If someone got you to list the main goals you want to do in the next 5 years, that wouldn't be on my list.
Move overseas.
I want to go overseas. I want to
travel and stuff, but not live in a different country.
No.
But then I feel because everyone else is doing it, I'm should I do it too? That sounds so dumb.
Maybe I should do it.
Yeah, am I missing out on something because I'm not wanting this?
I think it's okay for some people to not feel like that's for them.
Yeah.
Because some people...
depends on the person.
Yeah, some people sell it as a universal thing. Everyone should do this.
Yeah, is it a rite of passage? Is it something people need to do?
I don't know if it's so much a rite of passage for everyone.
It's just a thing.
A thing you could do.
It's a possibility. And
you shouldn't feel bad for not wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Just as you shouldn't feel bad for doing it.
You need to make decisions for yourself, not just because everyone's doing it. But then how do you know you're making the right decision or not?
It's the beauty of life.
Well, that was dope. I think when I initially started making this video though, because that was a month or so ago now, it was a long time ago I started working on this video, I was I don't know, do I want to move overseas? And a lot of people were either moving back or leaving. And then I was looking at that like, am I missing out? Am I doing my life wrong because I'm not moving overseas?
So it's making this video kind of
it's like
helped you answer your own question.
That's what this video has been, a journey of discovery.
Do you want to move away? No.
But like, it was a hard decision to come to, you know?
Or like hard to realise that's actually what you wanted.
And then you're like, holy shit, what? Like, that's not what you have wanted forever. It's completely different.
Figuring out what the difference between what you want yourself versus what other people think you want, or what people tell you what you want, or what you should want.
Yeah. Only about 2 weeks after we had this conversation, Tara is now considering moving overseas. When she told me, my stomach churned and took a flip. And if she goes, which I wholeheartedly support, accept, and admire, but if she did go, I would lose another friend. The more I delved deep into people moving overseas, the more I realized that for me, moving overseas would be hard, maybe not even right. I just couldn't see myself living in a different country to my family. The people who have showered me with unconditional love my whole life. I like being close to them. I called them. That's in part 3, the final episode in this narrative, where I come to terms with where I am, what I am doing, and how I am choosing to live my life. Next time I talk to my mum and my partner Luke. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.